This is why Ndombele flopped at Spurs. To start with, let's get into why we signed him. The 22-year-old was Mauricio Pochettino's #1 target, and Spurs were able to see off late interest from Man United. This came off the back of a very convincing season at Lyon for Ndombele. During that season, he played a key role in helping the French club to secure a third-place finish in the top flight. As many players tend to, Ndombele has had very big issues with struggling to adjust to difficulties of the Premier League. This has been hindered greatly by the issues he has faced with injuries, where particularly in his first season at the club, he was plagued with injuries. This made adaptation to the culture and the country, as well as the league, very difficult for a young Tanguy Ndombele. It's also meant that it was particularly difficult for him to gain a strong enough level of fitness to maintain regular game time. It has also been very difficult for the player, due to his inability to speak English upon arrival at Spurs. This language barrier has clearly done nothing but made adaptation extremely difficult. It's also very likely that the extremely high expectations set on him have made it very difficult for him, likely because he believes it will be almost impossible to live up to the £65 million price tag set on him. So let's get into the managerial side of why he's failed at Spurs. With Mauricio Pochettino being sacked so soon into Ndombele's start at the club, Tottenham had soon switched over to a more pragmatic style of football, under the management of Jose Mourinho. This did nothing but hinder Ndombele's development at the start, especially with the criticisms he faced publicly from Jose, saying that the player lacked fitness and energy after he was subbed off at half-time against Burnley. However, he eventually did start to adapt to Jose, having a massive resurgence under Mourinho, although this did only last a few months, and the player publicly fell out with the manager once again. But it was in this time that we truly saw the Frenchman's immense talent, especially with that crazy goal against Sheffield United. After Jose went, he was out of favour completely at Spurs, with Mason preferring the likes of Harry Winks to him. This continued under Nuno, who preferred to play Dele in a deep role rather than Ndombele. Under Conte, he was also out of favour. This led to him being loaned out to Lyon not long after his terrible walk off the pitch against Morecambe in the FA Cup. He never managed to win Conte over in his time at Spurs after that. Now, under Ange, where the attacking style of football is back finally, God forbid, it's been awful. He is still completely out of favour, where he has now been loaned out to Turkish club Galatasaray. It now looks completely impossible for the Frenchman to revitalise his career at Spurs. By the way, just a quick reminder, everyone please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. While this revolving wheel of managers has clearly been very bad for the development of both Tanguy and Tottenham's squad as a whole, I believe that the largest reason has been because the player is extremely lazy and has a very poor mentality. His poor mentality has been shown many times during his spell at Spurs. This has been especially seen by the fact that he has not wanted to stay and fight for his place at Spurs, and instead he's preferred the easy option of another loan move out, as shown this season where he's gone to Galatasaray. It's very unfortunate, because it's so clear that he has the talent to live up to the £64 million spent on him, but he did not have the mentality to go with that talent. And if only he had the mentality of a player like Emerson or Sissoko, then Spurs could truly have seen a generational player for them. In conclusion, it would probably be best for both Tanguy and the club to part ways, whether it be to Galatasaray, where the manager is already taking a liking to him, or another club, where hopefully the 26-year-old will be able to reignite his career and show everyone how good of a player that he can truly be, as his potential is absolutely incredible, to be honest. So as always guys, come on you Spurs.